Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, Marvel aficionados, Star Wars fans, people like Batman, and people who want to get involved in the console wars. It's this week's Monkey Nut Bunch podcast. Always on these podcasting journeys, I've got a man, got a beard, and I've got me. So, my manliest man of all, Keith, how you doing?
Yes, I'm fine.
To be fair, he's about 3 times the man I am.
He is 3 times. I was going to say manlet, but yes, he is 3 times the man that you are, just by volume alone.
Thanks, honey.
We've got Keith. So, Keith,
I've already said hi.
say hello again.
Hi. Hello again.
Too. Thank you. Now,
Hello. Hang on. I'll do it 3 times for luck. Hello again.
and then we've got Nige, the beard.
All right.
How are we doing?
Hello. All right. Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
All right.
Significantly.
He's
I
the
have to
man.
say
Beard.
that beard of yours. I'm not going to be drinking on this week's stream because last week I got a bit drunk. Just a little bit, just enough.
Yeah, Keith had a bit too much and he kept blabbering on about everything. Couldn't stop.
No, I'm not this week. I've got a bit of let's just say not the most stable stomach at the moment for some reason.
Oh, so if you need to dash off and we hear some brown noise, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. On this week's show, we'll be talking about some movie stuff because there's fuck all movie news to talk about. We've got some Star Wars bits to talk about because people are doing some really dumb shit when it comes to Star Wars. Then we've got Jonathan Frakes being really dumb, shall we say, followed by Facebook launches Facebook games, which will be interesting to talk about. Arkham Knight developer tries something and gets shot down tragically. And then we get into people throwing shade at each other. And we've got a few reviews in regards to Timeless, Futureman, and Afterlife Season 2. And we'll finish off with our what the fuck story. So let's start with the first one. It's a real simple one in comparison to everything that we've been doing. The guy who's the director of what is it? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has released a cast and crew photo. Now I thought it was going to be a bit more than that when I read that thingy. But what's his mush is I think he's desperate to remind everyone out there that he's doing a film. He wants it to be good, and hopefully it will be. But I have to be honest, I don't think any of us are excited for it whatsoever.
I'm a little.
A little.
I want to see trailers first before I get excited.
Out of all of the new Marvel films, I kind of like the sound of this one.
Do you? With all
Along with
all
Black
the
Widow, yeah.
with all the added political correctness and the gayness.
If we look, you're allowed to have gay characters without. It depends on how it's done. If they start going, oh, this character. If the character walks up and goes, "Hi, my name's Dave, and I'm gay," then fine, fuck off. But if it's just done naturally, like they did Sulu in Star Trek, I'm down with that. I don't care. If the story itself sounded interesting, yes, the political correctness switches me off as it does on everything. But I'm kind of with Nigel on this. That it sounds partially interesting. It sounds a bit different. I'd quite like to see a Marvel take on a kung fu movie. I quite like kung fu movies.
Yeah, that's what I grew up on.
Yeah, it could be shit because it could be woke and bullshit, which it might be. But I'm holding out the tiniest bit of hope that it might actually be good.
I quite enjoyed the Iron Fist first season. I felt that was quite good with kung fu and everything that was in there. Yeah, it went a little bit weird, but I haven't seen the second season. I haven't bothered to be fair. But if it's similar to that, because that wasn't, in my mind, that wasn't woke. That wasn't forced political correctness or anything like that. It could be decent, this film. I will hold hope because I do like a good martial art film. It was a staple diet of mine back when I was growing up. Bruce Lee everywhere. So it could be good. Depends on how they do it. As long as they don't, do the woke stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, those guys
just
just pointed out to me. Yeah, I should have put the banners up. Yeah.
I don't know this whole Phase 4 stuff. Shang-Chi's not even a fucking B-list thingy. They should have done a Daredevil film, or a fucking Iron Fist film would have done.
Iron Fist film.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, but Iron Fist season 2.
No, I'm not talking about Netflix. I'm just talking about doing Iron Fist, not Iron Fist film. So it's one of those things. So I think it's going to be a disaster. Not an unmitigated disaster.
I don't know if we've heard about the plot yet, have we?
No, that's why I'm worried, because they turned around and said that he was gay before they said anything about plot. And that's when you go.
That could be the producers getting involved, and you know they made a huge. Don't forget, they made this huge song and dance about how Sulu was gay. Then you watch the movie, and it was just natural.
Yeah, but that's not.
You see Sulu walking off. He grabs his daughter, he kisses his daughter, and he puts his arm around his husband and walks off. And it's like, what the fuck was all that shit about? There's nothing. They didn't have like this big neon sign going above me going, "It's a gay person, gay here." You know.
But I'll be honest with you,
gay bar.
That's what they really want in Hollywood now. They do want that big neon sign saying that they're gay.
Yes, I know. But they did the same thing in Beauty and the Beast with Disney, with Josh Gad's character. And again, that was harmless.
Yeah, it goes like this. No, it's going to be terrible. They haven't told us anything. They told him he was gay before anything else. It's going to be terrible. They haven't thought about the story. They really haven't. The story is secondary, maybe even tertiary to what they're doing, which is worrying.
They're ticking boxes, but I'm holding out a small amount of hope. I am holding out a small amount of hope. But you're right, it could be. But then it just could be the Hollywood producers living in Hollywood where everything is veganism and gay.
Yeah. Yes, veganism and gay. Okay, Star Wars. Star Wars. So there was a interesting article on Bounding into Comics, and they're talking about how Star Wars is toys have no demand. And I don't know if you've watched some of the videos online, some great videos online where people go into the shops and they just find stacks of Star Wars toys on sale. And it's like kind of, you've got like, they have a range they call the Black Range, which are like supposed to be like the super detailed, uber expensive, really cool ones. And they've got Admiral Holdo. And there's a comic book creator called Ethan Van Sciver who collects Rose Tico figures. Every time he finds them, he buys Rose Tico figures, and I think he's got a small army of Rose Tico figures because no one's interested in a woman in a burlap sack who ruined one of the characters from the previous films, which isn't a very good thing. So yeah, it's funny when they turn around and they make statements about what was it? Not sure if they're doing any more Rise of Skywalker toys or anything at the moment, unless they have some interest in them.
They're not going to produce any if there's no interest. If they haven't sold out what they've already produced, they're not going to produce more.
No.
There isn't the interest in the toys anymore because there isn't. The thing that made Star Wars special has been lost. Because, say what you like about the prequel trilogy, at least they were made by the guy that created Star Wars, and they were made with some passion. You either love or hate the prequels. My biggest issue with the prequels isn't the story, it's the casting. I think the casting was terrible. Hayden Christian as Anakin was not good. The direction of especially episode 3 and Ian McDiarmid, you know, when he turns Anakin to the sky, I'll never forget it because it's just like he looks constipated. He looks like he's got a great big cork up his ass. But anyway, I digress. The who wants to buy toys? Who wants a Rose Tico doll? Who wants a bloody what's her face doll? No one does, because the characters weren't good. They weren't memorable. The problem is, you know, when you want your merchandise to sell, you have to make a good movie, and you didn't. You had a promising start that could have been forgiven if The Last Jedi was any good. Because you can almost guarantee that people will say now, had The Last Jedi been good, and had we got something like the Duel of Fates that Colin Trevorrow's script, if that is real, which apparently it is, then I think they would have sold merchandise. But we got The Last Jedi, and it was stupid, and it was the dumbest thing in the thing. How the fuck Kathleen Kennedy still has a job, I don't know. But her contract runs out next year. What's the betting it doesn't get renewed?
I'm hoping it doesn't get renewed.
She'll
they
won't fire her because Bob Iger is too much of a pussy to do that. But you know, they will. I don't think renew her because she is single-handedly made some seriously poor decisions. Why the fuck you didn't map out the 3 episodes before you started? I will never know. To me, it's beyond incompetence. It's my God. I've got a 5-year-old niece that would do a fucking better job than they did. You know, if you're going to do episodes 7, 8, and 9, okay, you don't have to use Lucas's treatment. But you have to have a story arc.
All right. Okay. So it goes. I think it goes something like this. Yeah. When the first Star Wars films came out, they were licensed under Kenner, and they had the wrong licensing agreement, which meant Kenner could make tons of money off of these toys. Guess what they did? They made tons of money off of all the toys. They got all the production notes. They got everything. They even gave kids IOUs for Christmas to say, we will get these toys out to you, but here's an IOU when it came to the Kenner toys. So they came out, and kids were really into toys, and I think they went out of their way to make sure they picked the toys that the kids could put in their pockets and take with them. Now, kids aren't so much into toys as they were. They kind of like computer games, kind of like tablets, telephones, smart TVs, electronic items more than they do toys. I think it's a real shame because some of the toys out there, if you look at the I don't know if they're the Masterpiece series or something for the Transformers, they are fabulous. They're really, really fabulous sets of toys. And Star Wars, when it came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, that's when the toy market was dying slightly. Now you can make money from toys. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying that you don't make as much money as you used to make. Toys aren't the be all and end all. There aren't kids with boxes under their beds with thousands and thousands of Transformers and little G.I. Joe figures and Monster in your pockets and Muscle Men and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Thundercats like we used to have when we were kids. So I think that's part of it. Yeah. So the toy market was dying as it was. Yeah. But there's some truth in if you make something that people are properly enamored with, they will pay money for and they will invest into. So you'll wind up getting people who normally, who buy toys would buy them for collecting purposes. It's like I've got a Transformer up there, and I've got the Lego Ghostbusters up there on my thing above my door because I like them. Yeah, it's just a little fun thing to have around the house. I haven't got mountains of toys. Yeah, I have not got the toys like I did have when I was little. I didn't have enough Transformers to invade a planet, which I used to have. But kids aren't into toys, and then kids also aren't into these films because these films are dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you watch it, and yeah, kids are definitely not dumb. It's like I've got my son. I made my son we sat down and watched The Matrix. 1990, 21 years old, that film. Yeah, it took, as soon as they got actually out of the Matrix and saw the real world, he was hooked. He saw that and looked at it and went, wow. And he was just absolutely, he was like asking questions. He goes, when did the robots take over? Where was it? Anytime soon? No. It's in the far, far future. Okay. How did they darken the sky? it's like kind of, is it like Tron? And yeah, it is quite like Tron, actually, apart from he's not being converted into the computer. He's still plugged in on the outside. Oh, right. I don't like those squiddy things. And he was really, really into it. And he actually seemed to love it. But it's all a case of, let's quote Field of Dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. Yeah. If you build something good, people will come. People will turn up and people will look at this and go.
True.
But when it comes to this here, when the guy who makes premium toys turns around and says, very politely, I don't think people are interested in your toys, then you fucked up, haven't you? This guy, if he's done it right, he would be putting out limited editions, real nice collectible stuff, yeah? But he can't even put out nice collectible stuff, which is what they do. If you look through the toys on the page, yeah? They've got like they've got a really nice, if I would like Kylo Ren, they've got a really nice Kylo Ren bust. It looks fucking awesome, yeah? But no one's interested in it.
There we go. Sorry. It's...
I just think this is the way things are going.
The problem is that you're not going to have the Disney trilogy was shit. There was no memorable characters, so why would you want to buy the toys from it? There was nothing cool in it. There was no, I mean, Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
There's no drama in it. That's the long and the short of it. There was no drama in that. It was went somewhere, something happened. No one cared. It's oh my god, they might actually. No, they're not going to die.
You see, I mean, I say after The Force Awakens, love it or hate it. Most of us hate it now, but I don't think we would have felt the same way.
I didn't like it
good. No, I know, and neither did my mum. My mum didn't like it. She was quite critical of it.
A woman of proper taste.
Yeah, I know. I'll give it that. But I think it would have been slightly forgiven if The Last Jedi had been good. But he fucked up everything. And so no one, the character, there was just nothing after that. You destroyed the ability to continue on from that and have these characters form that same bond that we saw in the original movies. I mean, even with the prequel trilogies, there was stuff there that we loved. The pod races, people loved the pod racing. I wasn't the biggest fan, but I bought the game. The game was good. There was characters in that that you liked. Just I cannot get over the level of incompetence. I do not understand how you can be a company as big as Disney and have what you've got here, and how are the people that are in charge still within a job? It just makes no sense. Because if you were in a private company, and you fucked up that big, you wouldn't have a job. How? It defies belief.
If you did, hang on a second. If you did it and you fucked it up that badly, and you didn't try to recover, and you didn't try to redeem, yeah, which she hasn't. She hasn't really done anything to try and make anything better. She doesn't realize that Disney bought Star Wars because they wanted the 11 plus boys to come to Disney World, because as soon as boys hit 11 plus, they ain't interested in Disney World anymore. Yeah. That's why they did it, because they wanted them to get them into the parks. They wanted to get to them to engage with stuff, and that the Marvel license is fractured all over the place. They couldn't put most of the Marvel stuff they wanted in there because fucking Universal's got it. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what do we do? Yeah, it's like we get started and help in this. We can get a nice steady feed of money from the boys from the Star Wars visits. That was the primary reason for buying it, is so that they would have those people as part of their audience, and they blew it. But But it gets worse. But before it gets worse,
Yes.
Dave has been chatting away something crazy. So, Nigel, if you'd be kind enough.
I'll just quickly go down them all and you guys can chip in. There's so many here, Dave. So many here, David. Right. He apparently agrees with Keith and the prequels weren't as bad as people make it out to be. I didn't mind the prequels too much. Not as good as obviously the original 3. And much better than the last 3.
The lightsaber fights.
Yes, the lightsaber
awesome.
fights were good.
Yeah, they did practice quite a bit for those, didn't they?
Yeah,
especially Ewan McGregor and Christensen.
That duel with Darth Maul is it's so fucking well done. And I mean, I still love watching that. I love watching Yoda walk in and fight Count Dooku. I still get that sort of chill down my back when Yoda just hobbles in, and then it's like, oh fuck this, and he just pulls out that lightsaber like that, and then he hobbles away again. That is epic. On so many levels.
So without going down memory lane, Keith, I am reading out the comment.
Well, I just wanted to touch on his next point. So you say the comment.
So David says that episode 3 was a great movie, even if Anakin's turn to the dark side was a bit too sudden.
Just watch that bit, Dave. Go and watch that bit again, right? It's the bit when the Emperor... So you've got Anakin kneeling down and the Emperor's talking to him and he's going... It looks like he is trying to squeeze out the biggest shit and can't. And that's my problem with it. He looks constipated, like really badly. And it's just bad direction. The movie itself isn't that bad. It's just bad direction on that. How that scene made it in... But that's my criticism of Lucas. He's never been a great director. Brilliant storyteller, bad director. But I do, go on.
So,
but he didn't nail it as Palpatine overall. Sorry.
Episode 1 apparently had a lot of issues, but it's still a better movie than The Last Jedi. Yes. If you're tiering them, Last Jedi. So all the 6 movies before are better. And then it goes to Last Jedi, and then the last film, and then the middle of the last films. If you got my drift, in my opinion, he nailed it as Palpatine. Apart from that shit face bit you were just talking about. He says lack of toys is a good thing for the environment. Less pollution made for producing plastic tat. Well,
I think the problem is this: they are producing plastic tat and it's going nowhere.
That's but they'll eventually sell those things and make more in vast quantity. I think they should, in my opinion, focus on collectible toys. You know, the toys that you buy, like you've got a couple of toys that you just put on your shelf. Got that's memorabilia, and just not geared towards the 12 and unders like they used to, that you could play with, because they're not selling them. They should gear it more towards, make less of them but higher quality, and gear it towards memorabilia that you'd stick on your shelf, maybe keep in the box. The Disney Star Wars trilogy wasn't exceptional. I think we all agree on that.
We'll cover that one.
Yep. The Force Awakens, best movie out of all 3. I'm guessing you mean the last 3. Yeah. Yes, it is unbelievable. I think that's about the job. Keep people keeping their jobs. And the last one here, it's a fair point. Then again, people just recycle them, and push comes to shove. Yeah, well, if they don't sell them, I guess they get returned to sender. Back to the manufacturer, they'll melt them down and use them for something else, I would imagine.
I do have one thing. Well, 2 things technically from the new era. I have a BB-8 because my wife loves BB-8, so I've got the Severo BB-8 toy. I also, because she wanted that one, I insisted that I got the R2 one because the R2 one is so cool. He has the middle leg and it drops down properly and he makes all the noises and his head spins and it's awesome. But she wanted the BB-8, so we got the BB-8, and I have a Lego X-Wing, which is Poe Dameron's blue one. So it's got a BB-8 in the back. But that's what, yeah, technically it's Disney trilogy, but it looks like the original. So there.
So from our point of view, the kids, they only wanted two things. One of them was Finn. It's an action figure. It's probably about 8 inches tall, maybe a bit taller. It stands next to the TV. And then we've got a Kylo Ren as well. This was when the first film, Force Awakens, come out. We got the same height. We got Kylo Ren. But at the same time, they bought a Darth Vader head, which is a money box that they can put money in, and it makes a when you put money. And then we got an R2D2 as well, money box, and he beeps when you put money in it. But they're from the original, those two. So really, that's about it that we've got. So I just don't.
Anyway, should we move on to this
it.
next subject, because there's some interesting information. I don't know if you've seen stories today about this, Gareth, but go on, you introduce it.
Yes. Right. So, someone's infinite wisdom at Lucasfilm, probably Kathleen Kennedy or her stooges, they decided to hire a very, how can I put it, caustic individual who was responsible for a TV show on. Sorry, my notes have bloody scrolled down. He's responsible for a TV show on Netflix called Russian Doll. Now, this individual, his name is Leslie Headland, and she was a former assistant of Harvey Weinstein during those years. So naturally, they chose to hire her because
she's good at facilitating things.
She's an alphabet person. She's only done one fucking TV show and had a Broadway play that was rejected by someone, and she got annoyed over it, which featured. It was supposed to feature Harvey Weinstein. Now, this I watched Russian Doll firstly, and I liked it. There were some bits in there I thought were a bit terrible, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as this woman here. So I'm just going to show some choice tweets. Well, these are replies because she went online and she started deleting her tweets as soon as this video came out. But all these people were like kind of replying to her. Or men in replies already throw fits. We love to see. So naturally, she's how can I put it? She's very caustic towards white male demographic who watch Star Wars and stuff. And you can see some of these things. These are replies to her tweets that she's deleted, because she can delete her tweets, but the replies stay there. Fuck the sexist 30-year-old man. And it's just like kind of females stay winning. And it's like, kind of, what the fuck was she tweeting that she had to delete that was that bad? My money says that she's, how can I put it? She's beyond an angry SJW. She's a political feminist, which is even worse. So
go on, sorry.
So they did that, and then they released this video here of her, which I will pop on, but I need to make an adjustment. Hang on a second. I have to move tab. Where is it? Tweet. There we go. Sorry, I've got to make sure I do this because I want to share the audio. So, and I shared the fucking image, didn't I? Try that again. Share screen. It's all right, because when I go to open my tabs, it's got all of them. So a guy called Data Racer on the internet dug up this video.
Just say that, like, I think white women need to kind of step up their game, to be quite honest. Like, sorry.
Doesn't she sound like such a charming individual?
You really do.
Mm.
You know, there's like I couldn't agree more with everything that these brilliant women are saying. But like, I'm also seeing the silent killer, which is a lot of white women at the top who are kind of reinforcing a lot of old ideas. I think a lot of it has, you know,
Old ideas like talent and dealing with customers.
to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'll just speak from my own personal experience. It's just like I wasn't sure how to be an ally. I wasn't sure what.
Yeah, she's talking about being an ally to someone who was fucking Harvey Weinstein's assistant when he went through his, shall we say, rapey phase.
I got what kind of terminology I was supposed to be using and being politically correct. And so as I started to rise in television, I started to just get more blunt and just start saying, like, I would like a black lighter. Because if I said diverse, you know, you get well, white is diverse, which is something somebody said to me. And I was like,
I will leave her there. That's a charming individual. That's I wouldn't, how can I put it? I'd fire into the fucking sun just to save humanity from itself.
Russian Doll was quite good, but there were
elements in it I couldn't fucking stand. I bet you it's probably her who put those in.
There's a lot of information around this because Disney haven't officially announced this. This was a leak.
Someone didn't read the show notes.
I didn't.
So when I asked you,
go on.
Okay, so she put that out there, and how can I put it? Yeah, Disney weren't happy because the next story. This is the closest thing I got to a story all through this. So yes, so Disney weren't happy, and the term used was livid, because from Disney's perspective, this was put out, as Keith said, without their knowledge or approval.
Say so.
That's it. Approval. Without their approval. And now you can imagine that the marketing machine at Disney is fucking huge. Half of the Disney company I would describe as the marketing company, because they do so much fucking advertisement, this, that, and everywhere. So doing this and jumping ahead of the gun would turn people absolutely livid. Now, I think this comes down to one of two things, yeah? I think it's one, she's worried that she's not going to be able to keep her job. So she wants to kick up a fuss so she can keep her job before anything goes down. Or she is trying to get out of her job and using this as an excuse so she can get a big payout. Either way, pretty fucking disgusting as an individual.
Well, the rumors are that she didn't leak it. It was Kathleen Kennedy that leaked it. That Kathleen Kennedy wanted to keep the cause going on at Disney because she knows that she's about to get her ass fired next year. Or no, it's not firing. Her contract won't be renewed, and she wants to keep her cause going. And these two have been huddled together apparently for quite some time. But I think the Bobs, because Bob Iger, although he's technically not CEO anymore, he seems to be doing a bit of a Putin. And he's kind of left, but he hasn't left. But the Bobs were apparently quite timid about doing what they are saying as a female-centric show after the sort of, you know, the Last Jedi kind of backlash.
Yeah.
But the rumor is it was Kathleen Kennedy that leaked it, not this bird. But she knew about it because she went and deleted her all these tweets prior to this story coming out. So she knew it was coming out. So, you know, it could have been her, but the rumors are that it was Kennedy or somebody close to Kennedy. As in Kennedy told them to do it.
It is weird because she is obnoxious. She really is obnoxious as a person, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to keep her anywhere near me if I was doing it. She'd be one of those people who genuinely fits the descriptor toxic. Yeah, genuinely. But I harp on about it, and she is horribly.
Part of the reason that Bob Iger is so livid was that he wasn't okay with her after the backlash from the She-Hulk lot, and they haven't been able to fire her because she's made such a fucking, song and dance about it, and she's got like all the feminist nut jobs on her side. But I mean, she is obnoxious, but she's not as bad as that bloody She-Hulk writer. I mean, that's a different level. But that's part of the reason why they were timid about this, because of her. And the fact that she deleted all of these tweets prior to Vanity Fair publishing this story means she knew it was coming, and it's true. So now Disney are faced with if we cancel this thing or don't greenlight it, we're going to have all the Twitterati going sexy.
It's simple.
But if they do cancel it,
Twitter account, delete. Problem solved. Seriously, Twitter is not real life. It is not a representative sample of your audience or your customers. It is full of lunacy.
Neither is Hollywood, and the bubble there. Just these people just don't seem to get it. They don't understand it. They don't understand real life. They're still making woke movies, and they still think they're going to sell, and they haven't done yet. Show me a woke movie that has, and it hasn't. It's just stupid.
I think she's using it as leverage too. Putting pressure on the top to say, look, it's out there. We've got to do it now. Otherwise, you'll look like idiots.
But I mean, if she did leak it, it was supported by Kathleen Kennedy. That's the thing. The two are in cahoots together, because Kathleen Kennedy's had this forces female thing since she got there. And
again, it comes down to the, what do you call it? The fact that this was brought in to get voice into the parks and buying Disney stuff, because Disney seems to be like Disney princesses. Yeah, me and Nige, when we went to Disney, we made a little pact that me and Nige would try to get as many pictures taken with Disney princesses as possible. Not because we're big fans of Disney princesses, it's because we're slightly pervy. That's the truth.
Thought it'd be funny.
We thought it'd be
the
funny.
Kids away.
Yeah,
Should the kids out of the shot. Like, get out, just us.
Daddy wants these picture taken with a nice dolly bird. Something along those lines. But it's weird because you get people who are kind of, they get involved in the story, and you've got a guy called John Campea, who is probably Disney Star Wars shield number one. Who's probably Disney shield number one. And it's funny because he got he was talking about this and was like kind of, hey, men babies, blah, blah, blah. I haven't got an original thought in my head like that. And he was blown out by his co-host, and it was fucking awesome. Can I get it any larger? Sorry, I'm trying to get the screen just a little bit larger so I can share it without.
Let's move on to main topic number 3. And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Joey Luca, right? Hi, I'm from Scotland. Well, hello. Thank you for writing in from Scotland and crew. What do you make of the news that a new Star Wars series on Disney Plus will be female-driven with a strong martial arts element? Seeing as Rey was a strong female lead, this has to be a good move for Star Wars. Your thoughts? Thanks, and stay safe. All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yep. Apparently, again, this is not coming from Big Gus's gas station movie blog.fart. This is coming from the actual trades. There is a new Star Wars show on Disney Plus in development. Now, of course, you've already seen it.
Considering that this guy started Collider or was involved in starting Collider, he's such a fucking knob. Yes. He was movietradefarts.com. You were that, and you still are.
Yeah,
but because he's got big friends, he thinks he's a knobhead.
Let him say his piece first.
Seem to be back in motion for the Obi-Wan series, and now there is another one. This one comes to us from Variety, who writes, a new Star Wars series is in the works at Disney Plus. Variety has learned from sources. The series
I'm going to forward it.
As storytellers, you're just setting yourself up for good things. I mean, it can go bad. It can go bad. We've seen it go bad before. But generally speaking, you're just setting yourself up for success when you're putting the people who already have demonstrated they know how to make great, compelling on-screen stories, and you get them to run something like this as well. Now, listen.
Right. He's talking about Leslie Headland. She's done one TV show. And it was an okay TV show. It wasn't groundbreaking. lots of people didn't like flock to it. I watched it, and it was like, hey, we've seen that episode of Star Trek where things go in a loop, and we've seen the episode of Doctor Who, things go in a loop, and we've seen that episode of whatever TV show where it goes in a loop. Yeah, nothing original there. Absolutely nothing original there. So what the fuck are they going on about? That's not talent. Okay.
He's talking about his mates, isn't he?
Yeah, hang on. Let's
he is.
Let's just continue for a bit.
Here,
right.
The man babies crying about, why is it female centric? There's an agenda. Listen, let's just put that to bed and not touch on this again, shall we? Listen, they've already got 3 other series coming that are all male lead. Okay, that means right now, if this comes out,
right. Notice there's a difference between male led and female centric. The Witcher is a male led, female centric TV show, and it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it centers around Yennefer and Ciri, and The Witcher just happens to be the dude that's kind of like linking them together.
and it's only 4 shows. That's 75% of the male lead. They got one that's going to happen to be a female lead one. Deal with it and just move on. So can we move on from that? Thank you. I think this sounds great. I always get excited when you get talented.
A fucking little manlet. I'm sorry. He is such an obnoxious little manlet. He's
obnoxious.
But he's the great bit when just give it a moment.
I say overall, I think this is pretty exciting.
This is co-host. She's been in Spartacus, Star Trek Enterprise.
You hear about this? I'm not even sure.
Let's hear a reply.
Talked about. I don't even know if you watch Russian Doll or not. But what do you think about this announcement? How do you see it?
Russian Doll, phenomenal show. Very, very cool that Leslie Headland is coming over and is going to do this. You're going to be a little surprised about what I have to say, though.
Okay.
I really, really loathe the descriptor of female-led. Because here's why. I love the idea of a predominantly female cast. I think it's fantastic. And if this is a world which it's like maybe there's a planet and there's only like female characters, there is an episode. So I would go crazy when Tom would watch Rick and Morty.
She's like, no, I'm not sure. I've got to find the bit where she blows him out. But long and the short of it is, she turns around and says, "Nah, it's bollocks, mate." I'll go back to our screen here. Sorry, my browser's having issues.
she blows him out. But it's happened to Campio so many times now. He is obnoxious little fart that thinks he is better than he is, and he is the true description of shill, because he will change his opinion, and he forgets that YouTube exists and that people can go back and watch what he said a few years ago. He's a twat.
But the long and the short of it is he's just an obnoxious kind of personality there who does things like that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Yeah, there's things that it's like Game of Thrones. When you guys, I didn't like Game of Thrones. I tried getting into the books and whatnot, and it just I found it really fucking boring. But you guys loved it.
Told you. Last 5 minutes of every episode. Awesome.
But that's not how you write a TV show.
I know.
Yeah?
I know.
It should scale up to minute 34 to minute 40. That's when the exciting shit should happen. And then you have the countdown.
We was nothing.
We were distracted because
nothing. 5 minutes done.
No, but you're forgetting the 34th minute probably had a pair of boobs in it, and that was it. You're like, boobs.
Or they capture your attention by shoving it in first scene.
Yeah,
but it's. But I couldn't get into Game of Thrones. But I wouldn't sit there and say, you medieval wannabe arseholes as an opener for that. It's like, you like Game of Thrones? I don't get it. Really?
I liked Game of Thrones up until season 6. At the end of season 6, season 7, I had big issues with, and let's not even talk about season 8.
Okay. All right.
No, I think he's pushing his opinions on other people, and I don't like people like that. The way he's talking, that bloke that we just watched on the YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I hope I never see him again. But his voice alone irritates me. The way he's speaking, It's he speaks like a twat that thinks he knows better than you. Because
he thinks he's better than you. He thinks he's better than you.
I don't like people like that. Just listening that little clip, I just don't like the way he's articulating. I don't like it. All right, fine. I get the idea that we're gonna have four films. Three are men led and one is female led. So what?
This is the thing is that
story is good.
Hold on a second. That she said female centric, yeah. The others didn't say male centric. They just said story. They told us about story. So when she came out and she said, "Oh, it's going to be female centric," instead of saying, "Hey, you know, we're going to set it in a time of the Republic, yeah, where the Sith, like ISIS, yeah, they've taken over a large portion of the galaxy. They're trying to infiltrate as many kind of organizations. They're there everywhere. They haven't come up with the rule of two yet. They're building up to that. They're causing absolute major havoc. People are terrified of them. They're looking for the Jedi's to restore that order and balance to the universe. But you know, it's not quite there. If that's what she said, I would have gone, yeah, that sounds interesting. I want to hear about the story. She's about to just come out and gone, Fudge power, and then gone back, and then that would have been it. Yeah, I think I would have preferred that. Oh, look, are you a POC? No, Fudge power, yeah. Tell me about the story. If you're telling me this, you've got nothing in regards to the story, and it's like kind of stop.
I don't care who the lead is. I don't care who centric it is. I don't care. I just want a good story to get into and listen.
Yeah, as I said,
get lost.
If she'd have come out and gone, hey, you know what? This is all about, as I said, the rise of the Sith in one sector of space, and they're building fucking spaceships. And the first episodes, they capture a shipyard so they can start assembling destroyers and like kind of like scary tech, yeah. And people are worried, and they're looking to the Jedi to try and sort this out. And their job is to go in there. Like one of them might have to go and infiltrate them, and other people have to go and sort stuff out. But it's just, yeah, it is worrying because I think Disney.
Thinking about that, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. It's a TV show called Timeless. I would say that's probably female-led, possibly female-centric. Because she's the glue for the whole 2 seasons that it was, and everything revolves around her and what she's done and blah 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 blah. But I'll talk about that later. And I think that was done well, and I don't think it didn't feel forced in the slightest. So
I go through the comments. Go on, Keith.
Star Wars has never been completely male centric. And this is what people forget. But anyway, Dave commented, didn't he? Do you want to do it, Nigel, or do you want me to?
He was talking about Star Wars feminism. I can't remember what that was about.
It's probably when we watched the clip of that woman.
Yeah, probably about that woman.
Fudge power.
He agrees. In a sense, that he's heard that Game of Thrones season 8 had a lot of issues, but he's never watched an episode. Well, don't then. It's fine. It's not your thing, just like podcast. It's not.
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody now because the ending is so unsatisfying.
There's no point in starting season 1 because season 8 is so poor, and that's meant to be the ending. It's not a satisfying ending, and you'll just be frustrated from end of season 6 onwards. It's pointless doing it. They want more female leads in Star Wars. So what? Why are people making such a big thing out of this? Can people get that over themselves? Yeah, exactly. Why just write a good story? Just write a good story. Doesn't matter. Because
apparently you're really, really brave if you're a female these days. Because apparently being a female these days is so difficult. I mean, it's harder than it used to be in the 1800s when they didn't have a vote.
Do you know what? It's because women have only been invented in the last 5 years, according to Hollywood. They didn't exist before then.
Yeah,
and they never existed in films before then. So it's like Marvel. What do you call it? Captain Marvel, the first female superhero. It's like kind of there was I'm sure there was Wonder Woman. back in the 70s with What's a Bush, because you had the bush you spun around, and I'm sure they've done that into a fucking emoji. If not, you had What's a Bush from Daredevil, Elektra. That wasn't fucking fabulous, but that was a female-led superhero film.
Same with Supergirl.
Supergirl, that's not one in the 80s.
Princess Leia was kind of a superhero, but I mean, oh Jesus Christ!
With no powers, but she was. There you go. Last one. You wouldn't mind seeing a female Sith character in a movie, a well done one, which they featured in the books called Darth Zana. Not what I've heard of, but yeah, why not? If there's already
the Rebels had a few female baddies.
I still question to you guys.
Sister of Mine, I think, was one. Sister.
There's is it not a cult, but a group called the Seven Sisters in Star Wars, isn't there?
In the books.
I've got lots of stuff to choose from.
There's four choose not to use it. So
Dave's right there.
And
let's not forget.
We've said before.
Lara Croft.
I mentioned this before. Lara Croft, the recent film, and you can't forget about the OG, Angelina Jolie. Yeah, she did a good Lara Croft as well, with Daniel Craig as well. So
we never tried the new Raider patch, did we, Gareth?
No, I couldn't get it to work on mine. I wanted to.
I got it to work.
I'll be honest with you. I was probably more interested in getting the new one with new patch than that one. Those sharp ass polygon tits. And the other thing too is we worked in a game store in the late 90s, and I swear to God, her boobs were getting bigger because we pulled out like the Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, and her tits were getting bigger to the point that it was probably buggering up her agility. So
we were on the shop floor demonstrating this.
I'm sure we did.
Definitely got bigger.
I'm sure we had an argument over it. Anyway, let's move on to our next one. So we've got Jonathan Frakes, who's currently on the payroll at CBS/Paramount. If they ever get their shit together, /Paramount/Viacom, whatever the fuck's going on. And he was saying that Star Wars Picard fans are watching it to make sure they hate it. And then he goes on to talk about how he was in 1987, where he went to first ever fan convention in Syracuse, New York. New York. And he was on like kind of the fans want to see Kirk and Spock and this, that, and the other. And I just want to say that the following. That was, how can I put it? That was at a time that no one rebooted anything. No one made a continuation of anything. This was literally the first time, probably outside Battlestar Galactica, that this had happened. That someone had got and said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to redo the show." And it's like kind of, it goes Star Trek with a English captain with a French name, an entirely new cast, this, that, and the other. And then he throws shade at Voyager and Deep Space Nine. I don't sound rude or anything. Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Next Generation superior. It's probably the best out of all the TV shows that they've done. It's probably because they ripped off the fucking Babylon 5 handbook. They've got lots of notes, and they paid. They had to pay for that privilege outside court. God knows how much they got from it. But even saying that, I think they did kind of rip it off a bit. It's still really good. The idea of going, hey, you know what? Does the Federation stay the Federation if we throw them into a war? Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. And then the same thing with Voyager. Does the Federation remain the Federation if we throw them at the other side of the galaxy and they'll do all they can to come all the way back? Yeah. And he kind of throws shade at that, at using that to try and excuse Star Trek Picard. Star Trek Picard is just terrible. And I can't remember who said it, but they said one of the, I think it's a guy called Script Doctor on YouTube, who says, because one of the marks of a bad writer and marketing is to try and get fans angry over something. because you get people getting engaged to watch something, even though they don't care about it. And I think that they went down the whole bad marketing route when it came to Star Trek, because it's shit. It's a shit storytelling. It's just shit all around.
I'm kind of I say, oh please, I liked Riker. Jonathan, don't say anything. Yes, you direct Discovery. Yes, you directed episodes of Picard.
Keith, before you say anything, that's why I said he's still on the Paramount / CBS payroll. So saying something bad might not be the best career choice.
No, but you don't have to say anything bad about it, but you don't have to attack the fans, because it's usually the people that like this thing don't watch it to hate it. It's usually when something's controversial, the left like to watch it so they can go and complain about it afterwards. That's not a trick of Star Trek fans, real fans. Fans watch it because they genuinely wanted to like it. I watched it to start with because I genuinely wanted to like it. I really wanted to see Jean-Luc Picard back again, and I really wanted to see where the Star Trek world had gone, and it was bad.
You got it wrong. You wanted to see a strong, independent woman. You think you wanted to see Picard? You don't know what you want.
No, apparently don't. Yeah, because apparently I'm really wrong for thinking that a Romulan saying "you cheeky fecker" is dumb as fuck.
Yeah, Irish Romulans. They were trying to make out that the Romulans are Pikes, basically. His interplanetary Pikes. That's what they were doing.
But it isn't the fact that it was woke. That isn't even the biggest problem with this. It was dumb as shit. And the trouble is, Star Trek fans are quite clever, and this was really fucking dumb.
I mean, just a quick one. Do you think they've ever watched the Galaxy Quest?
Oh,
because if they watched Galaxy Quest, they'd know about this. Wouldn't they? They know that the fans were quite smart and they'd ask awkward questions and really kind of probing and in-depth questions and stuff. Because these are people who are not your average TV watchers. Yeah.
There's been criticism against Picard that maybe are unwarranted, and they might have a point that shows evolve. They do. Things evolve. Things get updated. Things move with the times. And there are some criticisms there that are probably unwarranted. But what you cannot get past is it's dumb. That's what's most egregious about this show. It's just fucking dumb. And if it wasn't dumb, if we didn't have Jean-Luc Picard doing a really stupid fucking French accent, beaming down to a thing, which was, by the way, insulting to the French, beyond belief, actually. He might as well have beamed down to Germany and gone, "Wer weiß of making you talk," because that's how bad it was. It's just so dumb.
Although,
I think obnoxious
spoken about
pricks.
Picard to death in previous podcasts.
No,
and we know exactly what his views are.
No, but it's because it's made by such obnoxious people. That's the problem, Nigel. And it's the same as that Cambia fella. All of these people in Hollywood are obnoxious. Hollywood has become a cesspit of obnoxious twazzocks. It really has. And, and if the one thing the beer virus is doing is I'm hopefully fucking ending half of them. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So Facebook, in their infinite wisdom, have decided to start up a streaming service.
It was always going to happen.
Twitch and YouTube gaming. I hate to tell you guys, YouTube gaming doesn't really exist in the way it did before. It's just a panel on YouTube now. Before it was like proper gaming. But Facebook have decided to launch a new mobile app which aims to make video streaming more accessible for a greater audience. They released the app 2 months ahead of schedule in an effort to provide users with another outlet of entertainment during the which cannot be named. On the 19th of April, Facebook announced that the app, namely Facebook Gaming in New York, Facebook gaming. I tried drinking some water to try and get my mouth loosened up before I'd read this. The long and short is they released it in New York, and it's designed so you can stream your mobile games on there. So it should be similar to that kind of if you ever used Streamlabs on your phone, it'll be like that. It's available at the moment for Android. It's not out yet on iOS. I don't know how good it's going to be. I don't use Facebook. There's a guy here who looks clearly like he's playing GTA in this picture here. Another person who's playing Fortnite.
I have
game streaming.
When I've been in Facebook, I have clicked that. There's a tab along the top. You know, you've got your marketplace or your normal feed that Facebook shows you what it wants you to see, not what you would like to see. And then you've got your notifications bit, and then you've got the symbol for Facebook gaming. When you click on it, it's just simply people streaming straight to Facebook, usually from their PC. They're playing games on their PC, just like they would stream to Twitch. There's no different really except I think maybe the audience is potentially bigger because it's straight there on Facebook. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they tried something a while back. I don't know if it was. I think it was something to encourage people to come from YouTube to Facebook. It says that they'll be giving out these little star things. So you buy stars and you give them to your whatever, and that gives them money. They take a cut of the commission, so you could buy. Like, I imagine you'll be buy 100 stars for a tenner, and then £2 of that goes to Facebook, and the rest goes to the person if you're that lucky. It's odd, but I think if Facebook want to do it, then they need to get the streaming apps on your Xbox Ones and your PS4s, and maybe your Nintendo Switches and stuff, and have options for OBS and Streamlabs and StreamYards too, so you can get these things sorted. It's just a really odd one because it literally, I was just going through the news and it's like, Facebook have launched a fucking streaming service for games. I was like, what the? And it turns out, yeah, they have. Yeah.
So, I have seen stuff popping up on my feed, live streams and stuff, and I'm like, oh, what? It's because even if you're in the feed side, your latest news, it will still show you what's being shown, and then you can click it and it'll take you to the gaming side of things. And I suppose it was always going to happen because Facebook started doing videos and to compete against YouTube, and now YouTube are doing streaming and Facebook will as well. So I'm sure sooner or later there'll be a way to link your Facebook gaming to, I don't know, whatever's on the PC. Like you say, like Streamlabs or whatever, and hopefully it will not do it to your personal page, but your personal profile, but the page that you have, for example. I'm sure they'll sort that out. I'm sure they'll give you like 3 options because I'm sure there's it's like with StreamYards. StreamYards gives you 3 options. It gives you your personal page, your business page, or your community page. I think it is. Yeah. Do you want to read up some notes? Because I think I skipped over when I jumped to this. David just touched on the Tomb Raider thing, where the latest one was better than the 2 Angelina Jolie ones. Yes, the latest one was really good. No, it was good. But I liked Angelina Jolie because she was like James Bond meets Indiana Jones.
You liked Angelina Jolie because she was hot and she spoke in a really seductive English accent, and that does it for you, as it does for me too. But as a movie,
Keith, stop it. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. That's just what you like. Angelina Jolie is
it had Rimmer in it for crying out loud.
It did, but the latest one as a movie was superior, and it was more like the new games, which I quite like. So I know where Dave's coming from.
I wouldn't describe it as superior. They're 2 different types of film.
They were a bit. One's a becoming.
2 different. Yeah, one was more.
How she became the Tomb Raider, which follows the latest kind of game, and it did follow that, and that's why I liked it. because it did follow the route of the game, and that was good. And Angelina Jolie, one, she's sort of an established hunter anyway. Right. I agree with David. You three for Hollywood. Yeah.
Yep.
We're not diverse enough, afraid, David.
We won't need to get paid quite as much. So
it goes like this. It's because I identify as quantum gender, Keith identifies as a whale, and Nige hasn't decided what he identifies as yet. So until he decides that he identifies as a black woman who's a lesbian with a disability, we're fucked.
I'll identify as whatever gets me in the role. So he also said this is why he's trusting Gareth with the Black Mamba franchise.
No, it's bad. Don't do it, Dave. Even I say don't do it. Okay, so some sad news. And the sad news goes like this. The makers behind Batman Arkham series, be it Arkham Knight or Arkham Day or Arkham Tuesday, Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City have put a pitch together for Superman, which sounded fantastic. Yeah, the only people who could do a better job are Insomniac, who do Spider-Man. And I'm not joking when I say that, because they were like, kind of, we'll do your Batman game. So I think it was, I can't remember who it was. I can't see my notes. That's a problem. Show the screen. I can't see my studying notes. But a guy from one of the development team,
Rocksteady,
who was called from Rocksteady. His name was
Bigfield.
James Sigfield, yes, who reported the Arkham. They were going to do an Arkham reboot for all intents and purposes, which might fit in with the new movie that they're doing, which could be a good thing. Also said that they didn't plan on making a Superman game, and that's because they were rejected by Warner Brothers, which I think is just stupid. Literally, as I said, there's two people you trust with a game like that, and it's like Insomniac and Rocksteady, and they could have blasted it out the park. Think of all the things they could have done. Yeah. They said that, I think I read that they were going to limit it, so you couldn't fly around the fucking globe and pick up buildings and whatnot. But it would have been cool. I would have loved to have seen that.
That's a shame. I would.
It was like the
Iron. Well.
Do you remember the Iron Man reveal for Iron Man VR?
Yeah.
When they did the Iron Man VR, and I showed you it, and I went, "Look, this is it." And you're like, kind of, oh my god, are Sony doing an Iron Man game like Spider-Man? And then we went, no, it's a fucking VR game. And we were like, oh, I'm not sure if I like it.
I don't know. I still want to see that Iron Man VR game. I still want to play it because I think it could be quite cool. But no, I know what you mean. An Iron Man game in the same vein as that Spider-Man game, which is one of my, I think it is my favorite game in years. I fucking love it.
I've picked that back up now.
So good.
I need to finish it. I've now got to the bit where you're up against all six of them because they break out of Arkham or whatever it's called.
You get the Insidious 6. Yes, that's
fabulous. Now I've got all six to take down. I turned it off after that. I saved it and come back to it later.
You've been playing it all night like I was.
I played it today during the day, and I thought if I don't stop now, I'm going to keep going.
I was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning playing it, and my wife gave me so much shit.
That's why
2 o'clock in the morning.
I went with a bit of self-regulation.
That's the mark of a good game, is when you sit there and you go, oh shit, I've got work tomorrow. When you do that and you're playing a game, I always say that if that's a great sign of a great game. Sorry, when you do that, and you've spent so much time into that game. Rome Total War was one of the ones I was terrible for doing because I loved it. I love Medieval Total War, but I tend to get on better with Rome Total War because you'd sit there and you'd have a battle, and then you go, just going to manage my economics. And then I'm going to balance out that castle there. I'm going to execute those people there. All right, okay, I think I'm done. Oh, I'm being invaded by the Hun down the bottom. Right, oh, fucking, I'll have those bastards. And then it's like, they've wiped out almost an entire legion. I need to now restock them. And then you get caught in a fucking cycle. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I'm going to be so tired. I don't even trust myself driving into work. So,
At which point you phone in sick. Oh, I'm too unwell to come today. Right, more tape. Well, we've only had 3 hours sleep, but fuck it.
So I always did the thing where I went to work, I came back, I literally drove as fast as I could, got in the house and had like 40 minutes sleep, as much sleep as I could get away with, and then fuck off back to work. And that was always the hardest getting up after that, because you drop into a real deep sleep. But a Superman game, I think they could have done a Superman game. I have no idea why they turned them down for doing a Superman game. I know that Warner Brothers said that they can't write a decent Superman film. Well, at least they're honest. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Could have been good. It depends what they did with it, but moving into the comments on that. I don't think I've seen Arkham Knight, but David says a Batman reboot game would make sense given the way Arkham Knight ended. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because the way Arkham Knight, it did end in it. Oh, it's too fucking late. I'm going to spoil it for you, Nige, because I know you've got Arkham Knight.
If it makes sense, it makes sense. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Sure. Do you want me to ruin it for you?
No. It's good. It's good.
Okay. All right.
Right.
I want to talk about.
You got to give him at least 10 years.
All right. So we're gonna get into our reviews and stuff. So
are we not doing? Oh,
I know we're not.
No, sorry. I missed one story. Hang on. I thought I was doing it. I've got right. So naturally, the console wars are firing up all over again,
and it's not by the fanboys yet.
Yeah, hang on a second.
And just to clarify, Nige, that's what it looks like.
Yes, that's what the Xbox One looks like. It's not. They're not mocking it up. That's genuinely what it looks like. It's not like what the PS5 mock-ups.
It looks like something like a knife block.
It looks. It's a knife block or a bin.
Kitchen knife
block. I dare them to do it. The first advert. I dare them to be just film it straight, dead on, and just have that. Dum, 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 dum,
That's no moon. What is so?
But anyway, what was I saying? Console wars. I like console wars because console wars are fun. Yeah, and this is how console wars usually go for me. Yeah, I usually buy the PlayStation first, and then I buy the Xbox, and I enjoy both of them. I usually think one's slightly better than the other. I think the PS5 was definitely better than the Xbox One. PS5, PS4, sorry, was definitely better than Xbox One. Yes, the PS5 is definitely better than the Xbox One. But the PS4 was. It just that the way it was thought through and put together, the feature set, the share button, all of that stuff was put in. And I think it's because the idiots focused on TV. They've learned that lesson this time around. I'm hoping that they do a better interface because their interface is shit. The Blade system.
The Xbox One interface.
It was when they had the 360 and they had like the 4-5 panels that they had, much better and much easier to get on with. I like that, but what they did for the Xbox One, the first iteration was utter garbage. I think I showed you it when I first got it, and I went, "What's this shit, Nige?" And you were like,
"How do I find anything?
Where's my games? I put a disc in. Where do I find it? I need to play the game, and it's loading. Okay, it's loading, and then it's patching. What button do I press?" And it was like that. That's what it got better. It definitely got better. But they need to work on that interface. And considering it's fucking Microsoft, they should be able to do a bloody interface. That's the bit I find really annoying. Anyway,
that should be their bag. Yeah.
Yes, please, Microsoft, pay attention. You need that sorted. Anyway, the console wars have started, and people are starting to throw shade. So, former developer who worked for Guerrilla Games and I can't remember the other company. It was the ones who did. That was it. Liverpool. Studio Liverpool, who did Wipeout. So you got Guerrilla Games who did Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn. Says it looks like a beast of a bit of hardware, but it's just it beats the PS5 in numbers alone and stuff like that, and that's fine. As we described it before, one is like a muscle car, and it's got all the kind of muscle car-y stats. And the other one is like a Japanese sports car, where it might not have the same engine size, but it may be geared up. Pardon?
It'll kick the shit out of the muscle car.
When you put a bend in the way,
you've got
straight drag race. wins every time. So we're talking first-person shooters. I think the Xbox One X series will be great at first-person shooters. Open world games, PS5 all the way. That's how I think it's going.
If you put it in car terms, you've got your naturally aspirated car, American muscle car, with a 3-liter engine in it, and then you've got your Sony, which is the smaller engine, 2-liter, but it's got a turbo. And in this case, they both go the same speed, like you say, down the drag, because you've got the turbo.
The muscle car goes. I think muscle car will go fast down the straight.
What we've got, with the Sony, we've got the turbo being the hard drive. That is going to be speeding things up no end. But the muscle of the Xbox will see it through. And I don't think, hardware-wise, I don't think it's going to be a huge amount of difference. And I'm going to be like you. I'm going to see when they start showing the interface, which interface I prefer, and then also which games are going to bring out.
It is always the games. It is always the games.
Because if you prefer the interface on one console compared to the other console, and all your games that you like are going to be out on both, then go with the one you like the interface of, because you'll enjoy it a little bit more. I know there's going to be Sony fanboys, there's going to be Microsoft fanboys, but I'm not going to get involved in that. This guy here, he's clearly been part of Sony, and so he's been asked to come out and say, no, Xbox is so much better than Sony, because he's moved, and they said, we had the thing last week where people were saying Sony's better than Xbox. Let's just wait and see, shall we?
I'll be honest with you, it was just so I could get some attention, because I went in and looked at his LinkedIn profile, so he got some attention from me.
I saw this as well on another story as well. Yeah. I just think we should wait.
Okay, calm your tits, boys.
I'm more interested in your last story, because that intrigues me. Is this real?
What's this? Oh, you mean right? This is Sony put in patents for fucking everything, and sometimes I think that some people do doodles on desks and they put the patent in just to be on the safe side. All right, just in case that doodle turns into something worth $1 billion. So PS5 could arrive with a robot to parry powerful Xbox X Series console. So this sounds like, how can I put it? Like what do you call those? When someone gives someone an animal to keep them sane?
Oh, Tamagotchi.
Not Tamagotchi, no, an actual animal. Therapy pet. That's it. This sounds like a digital therapy pet.
So it's not like what the NES did.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. Let's just let me go through it first, all right? So, okay, that doodle there. Just remember that doodle, all right? That's not Matt Evans, the person who wrote this 5 days ago, putting that doodle in there. So PS5 is set to be a phenomenal machine, yeah. Although the outer casing hasn't officially been revealed yet, which we're all kind of waiting for, we do know a lot about the inner workings of the console. The PlayStation 5 will support 8K graphics, next generation ray tracing, revolutionary 3D audios in a setup set to challenge the Xbox X Series. Great opener. There's also the DualSense, the haptic feedback, and all that nonsense. Blah blah blah. However, bar an official release, we still don't, which nobody saw coming. US Patent Trade Office showed Sony Interactive Entertainment is looking at a human-type, pet-type robot with a field deduction unit. So, no, see image. I told you, someone was just doodling on their fucking desk, and I went patent that. The robot, which is initially sketched by Sony to look like a cloud with eyes and limbs, is eerily blank, but a bit reminiscent of the old Moomin comics. Yeah, it does look like a Moomin, I'll give you that. The robot is a lot more than a Furby-esque companion to sit and watch TV with you, the patent says. Following. The idea is that this robot observes you playing, yeah, and it tries to work out whether you're happy or sad or scared and stuff like that. I don't know if it's something that's supposed to be invisible and it's supposed to provide feedback so they can work things out. So it's really weird. Or it's a genuine like companion to keep you company. Could you imagine that? You're playing your PS5, yeah, and you want to do co-op, yeah? This is like a split screen game, and you can do co-op with it, something like Uncharted or whatever, but they've managed to do it so you get two characters on the same screen. And you've got no one to play with. Violins play. And you've got no one to play with. And then the robot says, I'll play with you. And then it sends a little thing. It's feeling sad and lonely. And then starts to play with you. I don't think it's that, but it kind of makes me think of that as it goes. And it's really bloody weird. So it's like kind of, it looks at things to try and work out what you're doing TV. It's going to spy on you masturbating, basically.
I see you're farting quite a lot today. Have you been eating broccoli?
Yeah. It's a really weird concept. I don't know if it's going to be something that sits behind the scenes, or you're going to get you get to choose a little kind of like what's that in these Dark Materials? They had their souls outside their bodies, something like that, and I get my little fucking ferret or Pokemon next to me when I'm playing. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. This,
I think they're just painting everything.
I do think they paint everything. I think if I was working at Sony, I would be in that department and say, we fucking paint everything. You doodle the boss with the horns. We're painting that picture. So if anyone does it, it's trademarked already.
I think it's just one of those things. Microsoft probably painting so many different things and ideas just in case something can be looked at and gone, oh, actually, there's a fucking good idea here. So I just think they do it. Yeah, again, wait and see.
It's such a weird idea just to have like a companion. It may be somewhere between like a Google. Maybe like it's a Google Assistant style thing, where it's keeping an eye. One, it keeps an eye on you, and two, you get to ask things. So it's like when you're playing along, and you do like you do with you do what I do with the Xbox. It's like Xbox record that, yeah, and then it takes the last 30 seconds of what I've played and records it and saves it for me. It might be something like that, and it's like kind of so-and-so is trying to get hold of you. Can you please dismiss the thing? And it dismisses it. And it might have like ability to recognize all the sounds and stuff up in the cloud and bits like that. And then it turns around and says, you've been playing for a bit long, yeah? Or it's like kind of, you've watched 5 hours of Netflix today. Are you sure you want to do the next episode of Tiger King? Something along those lines. But it is interesting.
Yeah. So not like the NES then.
Not like the NES. Not that it was a mood ring.
The NES robot. NES robot was cool.
No, there wasn't a NES robot. It was like a mood thing, and I don't think it was a NES. I think it was the.
No, it wasn't a NES. It was a NES. The NES came with a robot. When the NES.
No, you're thinking of Robbie the Robot. You're not thinking of the mood thing where you put the little sensor on your finger. And it records
no. I was talking about.
And if the more relaxed you were, you bet you could play a certain game.
Oh, I didn't know about that. No, okay. I had the original sort of, number 5 looking short circuit robot that was cool. It was really cool.
Okay, Robbie the Robot.
Anyway,
okay.
What are we on to next, leader?
We're on to Nigel's female-centric, lesbian-orientated.
There was no lesbians in Timeless.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't any lesbians.
Notice them. They're everywhere.
But the lead actress was in the frappening or whatever it was. She had naughty images leaked. Nigel's suddenly interested.
So yes.
I didn't actually find her attractive, but okay. So Timeless. It's 2 series. This now essentially this is. You can see in this clip that we've got here, somebody steals the mothership. It's a time portal, not time portal. It's a machine where you can go back in time. Time machine. That's
machine.
It. Time machine.
Nice. This is Stargate
all over again.
Stargate all over.
Fucking okay, all over. I've got through. It's got one of those things. It's a blue box. Let's go through, like, you know, stuff.
Timey-wimey.
Watch, yeah.
So they've built this time machine, and then it gets stolen. So what they do is they have a backup or prototype time machine, which looks a bit crap and a bit beaten up, but it's just a prototype to prove concept and blah 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 blah. So they find out the guy who has stolen the time machine is actually going back in time to try and change significant events in the past to affect what happens in the present. So in this clip here, you can see this is a Hindenburg disaster. So
Hindenburg, not Hindelburg.
Hindenburg.
Oh, I remember the Hindenburg disaster.
So they go back to try and stop it from crashing, and by doing that, they've affected the present. So essentially, you have got this main character. Her name is Lucy Preston, and she is a history professor. And she's brought on board because of, well, she knows history, and because they're going in the past, they use her knowledge to figure out what they might be trying to affect in the past, which makes sense, to be fair. And then obviously they've got a military guy. His name's Wyatt, and he is the soldier. And then you've got the driver, the driver. His name's Rufus. Not many people have been trained as a driver. It takes ages, so he's literally the only one left in the team. And so they go back to chase this guy. The guy who's gone back is called Garcia Flynn, who has stolen the mothership. Now they're treating him as a terrorist, so the government's involved to try and chase this guy, and it's all at a very high level. The general public don't know that this thing has been invented, and time travel is obviously still on the down low. So I think essentially it boils down to whether or not you like that sort of thing, and it was something that we could watch and we could get into, and we could watch 2, maybe 3 episodes in a go with my wife and kids. My kids were getting involved in it as well. They quite enjoyed seeing them go back in time and seeing all the different eras. And they sort of, in my opinion, they do get the eras quite right, because Rufus, he is the driver and he's a programmer, and he's a black guy. So when they go back in time far enough, obviously there's slaves around, and whenever he's seen with these guys, they always assume he's their slave, but they always say no, he's born free. So they're taking to historical cues as to what actually happened in the past, and they're sort of not circumnavigated, but they use that as not a reference or anything, but they do acknowledge these things happened in the past. And there's various places that they go to.
All right, Nigel, tell us how you feel about it. We don't need the details.
So,
does it make you feel good? Is there bits that make you go, ooh?
They always tended to end an episode with a hook, and that's the sign of a good series, in my opinion. So that it drags you back in to watch the next one. So they always do that, and you always seem to sit there and go, "Fuck! How do they come back from that then?" You know.
Okay. So what hooks did got you?
Oh, like somebody getting shot and looks like they're dead. Somebody dies, and you sit there and go, "Fuck! Now what?" You know. I don't want to ruin anything.
But you're also.
Some of it.
One of the major things to point out about this series, Nigel, it got cancelled twice.
It did. So at the end of the first series,
finish it off.
Yeah. So the end of the first season, which was 16 episodes. I didn't know this, but Keith reminded me. Yeah, it did get cancelled, and then down to pure fan power, they got a second season. and so the second season played out, and it was only 10 episodes. However, it was left on such a cliffhanger, or such a cliffhanger. It wasn't really satisfactory. And then eventually, after half a year, they did bring out a finale, and the finale was broken down into 2 episodes. So
have you seen them?
I have seen them, and it's all there. So I think we watched it on.
No.
I don't think it was on Netflix. I think it was on Sky Box Office.
I think it's on Netflix
Sky Box
now.
Office, Sky Box Sets. It might be on. It might be on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on Netflix. I'm sure I've seen at least the first series.
It unlike Game of Thrones, it's hugely satisfying ending.
They tie everything up nicely in the final 2 episodes, and they actually show you how and why Garcia Flynn, the bad guy, the terrorist, actually starts everything off in the first episode, in the final bits of the last ever episode. So you can see the reason why, and they mention it throughout the series as you're going. I just think it's one of those satisfying series that you could watch, because it flows through.
From your perspective, it's a good series to watch with the family, and it is a good family-related series. It's pretty light-hearted.
All right.
And
I understand your timeless, but I will raise you one Future Man. Now, Future Man is, how can I put it? Imagine how do they greet time travelers in Timeless?
They don't know the time travelers.
Okay, well, in Future Man, the first time our character meets a time traveler, he jizzes all over them.
What is it? Is this a TV series? It's
a TV series. Now, the first series is pure gold, and what it is it's like the Last Starfighter, where there's a video game that's been put out into the world, and it's to act as a training tool to find the savior for the future. So what it is this guy's been playing this game, which no one's managed to beat, but he's planning on beating it. He gets shit from his friends in the gaming space and whatnot. So he completes the game, finally completes the game. He figures out that the last level, he's supposed to remove all his gear and go into the level unarmed in order to take the boss down, to make him more agile to beat the bad guys. Been driving him up the wall for years. He's been playing this game for a good 2 years. Anyway, he completes it, and there's 2 characters in it. One's called Tiger and the other one's called Wolf. Now, Tiger's like one of those kind of fit birds with weird coloured hair and a cleavage that you could ski down. And Wolf's just a kind of not so bright, tough man. And so he completes the game, and he looks up at the poster of Tiger and decides that he's going to have a celebratory wank. Unfortunately, he doesn't realise that the game is actually a training tool. So he's in the middle of finishing himself off, and the 2 jump in from the future, only for him to go, "Oh my god!" and then spurt all over a character called Wolf. Not family friendly, unlike 90s Timeless.
Doesn't sound it.
What's this this streaming on?
This is streaming on Amazon Prime at the moment, and the reason I looked at it because it was created by 3 people. One of them was Howard Oberman, who did the current series of War of the Worlds. And when I watched this is like the polar fucking opposite to War of the Worlds. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. They basically fuck time. They bend time over the table and they fuck it. All right, and some of the things that they do, there's a bit where they go back to 1969. And there's a black kind of fraternity or sorority or something, and they're having a big moon landing party, And if you know anything about the future, the future was destroyed by a scientist called Cronish, who is actually at that party. And he's a black guy, and he creates a race of super mutants who are immune to disease and this, that, and the other. And they have literally been like kind of killing off humanity bit by bit. So the guy called Wolf bursts in there, and he turns around and he goes something along the lines. He goes, "We're going to erase all your mutant artists from existence." Now, from his perspective, this is Hitler. Yeah, this is the guy responsible for mass murders worldwide. But from their perspective, there's just some crazy white guy yelling that he's going to wipe them out because they're mutants. And that I watched that. I was in fucking stitches for that. And it's weird because it has like three really. It sounds really weird to say it has three really good jokes an episode. And they travel around and they fuck. And I mean they royally fuck things up. Yeah, it's like kind of, the butterfly effect. Well, imagine if they came back and they just fucking started exterminating and blowing up police cars and whatnot. Yeah, the kid who was recruited goes, "Look, I will try to persuade this guy called Cronish not to kiss this bird, because if he kisses this bird, he gets herpes. If he gets herpes, he becomes obsessed with trying to cure herpes. And in the obsession to try and cure herpes, he figures out to cure all diseases." Yeah. And because he does that, so if he doesn't kiss this bird and doesn't get herpes because she had a cold sore, yeah, doesn't get herpes, he'll be fine like that. So he calls it Operation Cockblock. He goes, "Right, you two keep the perimeter safe." So when they go to keep the perimeter safe, they get a load of cars and they create a wall. They create an actual fucking perimeter, which they man the barricades and the police turn up, yeah? And then a fight breaks out between the police, and then they've pissed off some bikers because they stole their bikes, like in Terminator, yeah? And they've come down there, and it's just utter chaos. The first season, I couldn't stop watching. The second season's not as good, and it features Seth Rogen in it, and it might be why it's not as good. But that first season, where they're just fucking things up royally, is madness. And it's like kind of they do the what do you call it, the Back to the Future thing, where he comes close to shagging his mum. The problem is, yeah, he what do you call it? He gets his mum confused with his mum's best mate, so he puts his mum off from chatting his dad up, yeah, and sends off her friend to chat his dad up, yeah. And while he's chatting with her, tries cheering her up, and it's like, "Oh, we'll go upstairs and get busy with it," yeah. And then he hears her name, and he's like, and just starts throwing up. It's really good. And there's a bit where one of them, because of the two time travelers from the future aren't quite acclimatized to culture now because they've just been surviving. Yeah, they've referred to their mouths as rat holes. Yeah, one of the guys gets a blowjob off of his mate's neighbor from a party. Yeah, and he comes back and goes, he comes back to this party and he just walks into the room and goes, "I just had a blowjob. It was excellent." That goes, "But not as good as meth," and then sits down. It's watched the first season. The second season, I'm having trouble getting into, and I'm hoping it's where it's 3 seasons long. They look like they get a finale. It's dumb as fuck, but entertaining. And you've got Keith David, who does voices for everything, and was in They Live and in John Carpenter's The Thing. He's in it, and he's great in it as Dr. Cronish, who's like the guy responsible, because Dr. Cronish, yeah, is a really nice person. So the character doesn't want to go back in time and kill him. And it's great, and I recommend you guys watch it, because I plowed through that first season in about 2-3 days because I was enjoying the crap out of it. And I watched, and it is the first season. I'm not sure if you're getting to the second season as well, because they get busted by the time police in the 31st century of their fuck ups. But it's really good, and you've got the biotics and this, that, and the other, and it's really enjoyable. Sorry, Nige. I thought, as I said, I raised you a Future Man, and you should give it a watch, because it is.
I've added it to my Amazon Prime while you were talking.
Oh, good, because it is mad.
I wanted. Go on, Nige.
Yeah, I was thinking, could we move now to the what the fuck?
No, I've just got this Afterlife to talk about. So, Afterlife season 2 Afterlife season 1 was a Ricky Gervais comedy. Now, you're either a fan of Ricky Gervais or you're not, and I found The Office excruciating at times, but there were very funny moments in it. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched it, but did you ever see the Gareth safety when he was they brought on a new girl and he gives a safety demonstration, and he you know, you had to tell whether it was dangerous or not, and he puts that jug of water down next to a monitor, and he couldn't think of anything else to do, so he just moves it to the other side. That was hilarious. But I didn't think The Office was as good as a lot of people made out to be. Now, I was on a plane flying back to the UK last year when I downloaded this Afterlife, and I watched the whole lot in the space of the 3 hours. And I laughed and I cried a hell of a lot, and I laughed a hell of a lot, and I thought it was almost goddamn perfect.
Well, seeing this, it's only just come out Friday, hasn't it?
This is the second season of it.
Yes,
the first season, yeah. It's only just come out on Friday. I binged a lot. But I really, really, really liked the first series because I think it, having been somebody that had just been through that whole grief thing, I really identified in some ways with the lead character. Not everything, because he sees the fact that he's lost his wife and he doesn't. His superpower is he doesn't give a fuck and he just says what he likes. And he says some really funny things. But the ending is great. The ending is perfect because by the end of it, he kind of comes out of the depression of wanting to kill himself, and you kind of realize that he kind of realizes that he wants to live. And he does nice things for these dysfunctional characters that make up this local newspaper. And it was brilliant. And a lot of people that I knew had seen it, got it. And a lot of people I know that have lost somebody very close to them, like immediate family, really found this well done. It really does nail grief. It really does. The second, I was a bit wary of the second season. It was a bit like when we first sort of reviewed Stranger Things and we said it doesn't need another season because it was perfectly self-contained. This was perfectly self-contained. So I was a bit wary when the second series came on. And the second season is not as good as the first season, but it is not bad. It is still charming. It's still very funny. There are more Ricky Gervais style cringe moments in it, which I found difficult to watch. There's a character that is a chauvinistic twat that is meant to be a therapist, but you just don't understand why this guy keeps going to the therapist because he's not, and that annoyed me a bit. But I watched it and I quite enjoyed it. I laughed and I cried again because there's some really moments, and the ending is difficult to watch. But it's brilliant. But it needs a third season to complete it. If you leave it here, it won't work. So it does need a third season, which he has expressed interest in. But what really got my goat, and this is something that you and me, Nige, talk about a lot, is the critics. And I've got to just demonstrate how off these fucking morons are. All right. So there's a list of the critics. I'm going to read a few to you here. So we have got the Guardian newspaper, right? So the Guardian newspaper says Ricky Gervais continues not to be as funny as in The Office, wrote Joel Golby, referring.
Right, what Keith doesn't realise is we're up against time window here, yeah? So I've just disconnected him from the stream temporarily because we've been trying to message him saying, hey, we haven't got that long and we need to wrap up soon. So at the moment, he's looking rather confused because it's like, what the fuck? He's pressed the... Keith,
we've been sending him messages for the past 15 minutes.
Messages, and it's like kind of, yeah. So we're going to talk about this in a moment. Also, he missed the deadline for the show notes. So I'm going to add him back to the stream and say, hello, Keith. And we'll quickly
I didn't see those messages, sorry.
Of course you didn't, because they only pop up in red.
Right, so let's get on with...
I don't think Gav's seen it, and I don't think I've seen it. What I'd like to do is I'd like to watch it during the week, and then we can have a proper conversation about Afterlife, because we both really enjoyed Afterlife Season 1, and we've been looking forward to Afterlife Season 2. I don't know about you guys, but Jesus, this has gone on a long time, hasn't it?
It has gone on a very long time. This is one of the longest runners. We're usually about an hour to an hour and a half, but we've blistered past that. Okay, so this is a what the fuck story, and we've got 1,000 left, heartbroken over lonely dog who's had enough of lockdown, and we've got this. Look at this really cute bulldog sitting there, looking kind of like a floppy baby. His name is Big Popper, and he's a 3-year-old English bulldog who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And there he is on Twitter. And he wants to play with the kids, and he just, we're watching from the patio. It's not cool. And we all kind of had enough of lockdown. And that's when you get certain people who are absolute fucking geniuses all of a sudden turn up. Like this man, yeah? Right, man, oh, fucking hell. So now it pops up. Fucking thing didn't load. Right, so man sick of his partner nagging about lack of a bath turns dumpster into jacuzzi for her. And all I've got to say, sir, is we salute you. Okay, all right.
You got to use what tools are available to you.
We have got to use what tools are available to us. So, on that note, we're going to say goodbye because Nigel's about to get skinned alive by his wife, so he might not be with us on the next podcast. Or if he is, he'll be looking a bit slimmer and redder.
Yeah, I won't be fed.
Yeah.
I have to feed myself, and that could go wrong.
I now have to give Keith a big virtual hug for cutting him off because he's probably upset and pissed off at me. But I'll rub his belly and feed him a few treats, and he should be fine. Or is that my Pokemon I'm thinking about?
He's a good boy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. We'll try and be a bit more structured next week. If you made it all the way here, as we always say, hit the like and like on either Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll catch you later, guys. Wave.
Bye.
Wave. I can't find my mouse. Wave like at the end of a children's TV show. And we're off.
Bye.